All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Encounters with Weston Forbes. I'm here today with the man, the myth, the legend, straight out of Noonan, Georgia. Y'all welcome Mr. Aaron Watkins. Aaron, how the heck are you, bud?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, man. This is awesome.
It's good to have you, man.
Heck yeah.
We've been trying to do this for a little bit, and it finally worked out, and you're here. I called Aaron 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I want to do a podcast with you. And I want to wear cowboy hats, and we had fake mustaches, but they didn't work.
Now we have cowboy hats.
Now we have cowboy hats. So welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you.
And glad to have you here. So
wait, am I too – how close should I be to this microphone? You're good. Right here?
Yeah.
All right.
How close do you want to be? You can lean in a little bit. That's fine. You're used to having a microphone in your face.
Yeah.
So – but yeah, man, welcome, brother. This is really just a place where I can have conversations with people that I like, love, interested in learning more about, and getting their name and their story out on the airwaves and all that stuff. And you seem to be doing a good job blowing up and doing your thing in music. So I just wanted to come and talk with you a little bit and let people know a little bit more behind the man behind the microphone. So
yeah, man, I'm just trying to keep up with you.
Keep up with me? Come on, son. Get you some energy drinks. Fed Social. They got the good energy over there. But so, man, how long you been doing this music thing? We'll get into the music first, and then we'll get a little bit into you.
All right, yeah. Let's see. I grew up watching my dad play a lot. That's kind of how it started. And I grew up watching him play with a few dudes. And I just like the way, even in just a bar setting, everyone's attention's on that guy.
Yeah.
And he has the crowd in the palm of his hand. And I wanted to be that dude. But I was too shy, so I started playing guitar. And I was like playing in bands. I was like, I don't like this too much because I'm not the one controlling everything. I'm just doing what the singer says. And so once I got to college, I was like, man, this girl kind of cute. And then she was like, I love Tyler Childers. And I was like, well, here goes nothing. And that's kind of how it started.
So you played a Tyler Childers song for her?
I did.
Which one did you play for her?
Feathered Indians.
Oh, nice.
I did play that one.
I was actually listening today to your cover of Lady May.
That was a while ago.
And, dude, did you record that right there? Or did you record that in, like, a studio? Like, it sounded so clean and crisp.
Thank you, man. No, we just have one of them little home kits.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. So you grew up watching your dad play, and he plays guitar.
Yeah, he plays guitar.
Does he sing too?
He'll sing Folsom Prison Blues if you poke him.
Yeah. So was he in a band or like a bunch of bands, traveling around, playing solo gigs? Obviously, if he's not singing a lot, he's just he's just playing guitar.
He would play in a bunch of bands, a bunch of different bands. He had probably one guy. His name's Tim Duggar. He ended up getting signed to Curb Records in Nashville. So that's probably like the most successful person he's played with. But other than that, it's just been local guys.
That's awesome.
But a lot of the guys are kind of like my heroes. You know, a lot of people, like I got Merle Haggard and a lot of big, like Aldine and those dudes. But really the heroes that I have are the ones that are local that I grew up watching.
Yeah. Like Tim Duggar, you said?
Tim Duggar.
Okay. Throw some other names out there.
Tim Duggar, Hunter Callahan, Daniel Williams, all these dudes are probably some of the ones that inspired me the most.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
And you're from Noonan, so you grew up with Alan Jackson out there and all that, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever see him or meet him or anything?
No, the closest I got was we snuck up to the front at the tornado benefit
concert.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I've never got to meet him.
That's awesome, man.
You?
No, I've never met him, but one of his songs was my dad's favorite, Pop the Top.
Oh, yeah, Pop the Top.
Yeah, Pop the Top again. Yeah, my dad loved that song, so I grew up listening to Alan Jackson. And then Mercury Blues, I think that's the name of it.
That's an Amir standard.
Man, my whole family had Mercuries, so I guess it was, they loved that song.
Like the theme song.
Yeah, it's a theme song for a family. I'm like, okay, Mercury Blues it is.
That's a good one.
But
guitar solo on that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So speaking of guitar, when did you pick it up? How old were you watching your dad? And
I was how old was I? I was probably 13,
Okay.
But I wasn't in the country at all. I grew up watching him play, and I was at the age where I was like, I don't want to be like my dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I was like, I like Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses. So that's what I learned on. But then, I ended up coming around liking the exact same stuff Dad liked.
Yeah, but sometimes, like, being at a couple of your shows, I see that influence, though, now that you say that. Because
we'll pull out Sweet Child of Mine
you
sometimes.
love country music and the older country music, but you put your little rock twang on it or something,
We rock it up a bit, yeah.
And then you hitting the guitar behind your back and all that stuff. Like, what country artist does that,
That's a good point. I forgot where I got that from. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Yeah,
okay.
Stevie.
Yeah. And he's not country, right? He's rock and roll and more blues, or
like
what would he be
blues,
considering?
Texas blues.
That's cool, man.
And I got a tattoo of him on my shoulder, right there.
Oh, that's Stevie?
Yeah.
It looks like an S.
It is.
No.
Oh man.
When did you get that? What made you love that guy then? Okay.
Yeah, that's my dude.
So what's your favorite song by Stevie?
Oh man, I've always loved when he did Texas Flood live in like '83 in Texas.
Yeah.
I can listen to that all day.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I got so many licks from. It's probably the biggest song. That's probably the one song that made me want to play guitar.
Yeah.
Was that one.
And he's like one of the best guitar players ever, ain't he? I mean, he's probably up there with all of them.
Yeah, with all of them.
I'm thinking, all I know is like B.B. King and John Mayer. He's up there with them, right?
He's up there with all of them.
And then Aaron Watkins will be up there eventually, right?
Aaron Watkins is down here.
I mean, you're building though. You're growing.
He's working on it.
You're growing.
He's working on it.
What do you got some things in the mix? Tell us what you're up to right now, and as far as music goes. I know when we talked the other day, you were in the studio writing new songs and stuff. So what are you working on right now? Are you working on an album or just a bunch of singles, or how's that really work?
We got I started working with Brian Collins and Will Turpin at Reel to Reel, and they wanted a single out. Like, we wanted to get a single out first, just to get something rolling, just to have something on my own. And so my song Holy Smokin's been out for about a year now, but we're working on an EP, 5, 6, 7 songs. Just to get a little more out there, get a little more variety.
Okay.
Everything from your like Rockin' Aldine stuff to 90s country ballad. It'll be cool. I'm looking forward to what's in store. We've been writing a lot.
Nice. Now, EP, is that all original songs, or are you doing some covers on there, or what's an EP? What's it stand for? Do you know? I don't know either. Put him on the spot. Brian Collins, where you at?
I need him.
Nate knows.
What
is it, Nate?
It's an extended play.
Extended play, okay.
Thank you.
I might have to fact check that.
All right.
I'll fact check.
The comedians over there.
I'm the one doing it. I don't even know what it means.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, man, we got it'll probably be mostly songs that I've written, Brian has written, probably Will's helped write, and we have one that is kind of like an homage to one of the guys that inspired me, is Tim. We're probably going to put Tennessee on there.
Okay.
It's from about like 2008, maybe.
Tim who?
Tim Duggar.
Oh, okay. He wrote the song?
Yeah, he wrote the song. No, I think someone else wrote the song.
Okay. But he performed it?
He performed it, and he put it on an album. And I used to listen to it all the time growing up. Like, I thought he was a mega star.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
Yeah. He was mega to you.
Yeah, he was mega to me. And so I thought it'd be really cool to include that song, just to have on there, just to be able to play it out and other people to listen to a version of it. Something that inspired me, I thought would be cool.
Now, when you say Tennessee, is that song? I think you did an open mic a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
About the girl named Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that song is hot.
It is. It's a great.
That's like a good
great
summertime
song.
drinking song,
It is.
getting around the boats with the bikinis and all that,
It really
I don't remember
is.
her name.
I called her Tennessee.
I called her Tennessee.
Yeah, it's such a good song.
On that afternoon drag, need a healthy pick-me-up that won't leave you crashing later? Head over to Fayette Social Nutrition and Energy, right across from Sonic in Fayetteville. They have delicious, healthy shakes, energizing teas made with all natural ingredients to get you back on track. Plus, for a limited time, get 10% off your next purchase. Just mention Encounters with Weston Forbes when you order. Fuel your day the healthy way at Fayette Social Nutrition and Energy.
awesome, bro. So you're working on the EP with Brian Collins and Will Turpin.
Yes, sir.
How does that make you feel to be surrounded by people who have already made a mark in the game and really, you know, you get to see them investing in people, local people? It's you, it's Mary, it's the Duncan brothers. I think Melody Kaiser's been over there a couple times.
She's been there longer than I think all three of us have.
Yeah, she's been around a long time. She plays a guitar behind her back.
She
too.
does. I want to be like Melody when I grow up.
She'll be at Anthony's on the 29th of July or June. One of them.
Really?
Yeah, just booked her.
If y'all ain't seen Melody, y'all got to come out to Anthony's.
Yeah, and now she's got the whole band, the Hey Dreamer, going on and all that, and they sound so good.
Yeah, she's incredible.
And I think they did record over there at Reel to Reel. So
they do, yeah.
So we got the Duncan brothers, we got you, we got Mary Martin, Kaiser. Who else do we got that you want to throw out for people to check out from Reel to Reel?
There's a bunch of other guys. I think that's about all the ones that play around this area, but there's a bunch of other guys like Alan Price in the Modern Day, Red and the Revelers, a lot of people that are kind of at a next level, have taken that next step, that are really, really talented and have bring cool stuff to the table.
Yeah, different stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward, and they're all great dudes. I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store for all them.
So how did you get involved with Brian and Will over there? Who reached out, or how did you guys make that connection?
We were over, I was at Awkward Brewing, just down the street, and I was playing, and the dude that owns it, Andrew, he came out, and he was like, "Hey man, I gotta call somebody." I was like, "All right." And next thing I know, a car pulls up, and I'm like, "Is that Will Turpin?" And Will Turpin gets out, and him and Brian come out, and they're watching for a while. I'm like, "This is pretty sweet." So I end my set, and me and Brian start talking, and he's like, "We got a studio. I run a production deal, and if you're interested in doing some of that, come by the studio." So next thing I know, I was taking a tour of the studio, and I loved everything about it. And I was like, this is where I want to record stuff. And so, I mean, ever since that first day, they've always treated me as family, which is rare.
Yeah.
Really rare, especially with the caliber of musicians they are.
Yeah.
You don't get that easy unless you are right up there with them.
They're very humble people, man.
They are.
Yeah. I just saw Will the other day. His son was graduating with my niece at Stars Mill. So, yeah. But I always not surprised to me, but when you think about someone who has had the amount of success that he has had, and then when you're talking to him, like if you didn't know who he was, you would never know who he is.
And he probably wouldn't tell you.
And he wouldn't tell you, very humble people. And Brian too. I'll tell you the story how I met Brian. I didn't know who he was, but I was doing karaoke at a place in Peachtree City.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention it because I don't want to push their brand, but I was doing karaoke over there, and Brian's singing, and it was around Christmas, and he's singing a Christmas song, and the whole place is just like in wow, like, oh my gosh, and then this lady came up to me, she's like, "You don't know who that is?" And I'm like, "No ma'am, I don't," and she's like, "That's Brian Collins," and I'm like, okay. And then I Googled him later, and I'm like, dang, like this is like this guy is awesome, man.
Yeah.
And his voice, I'm like, okay, man.
It's soulful.
He's got it, right? And then when last time I seen you playing at Grazing Here and you called him up, man, I mean, you guys, your energy matches. So I could see why he wanted to take you under his wing and produce for you and all that. Yeah, so did he produce Holy Smokin'?
Yeah, Brian produced it. So we got in the studio. I'd been going up there. He would invite me up there when other people were in there recording just to see what's up, see how it is. And he was telling me, if you feel more comfortable in the studio, you'll do better. And it ended up working out well because when I went in to record the song, I was already very familiar with the place, and I was relaxed, and that made it go by so much quicker. But anyway, me and Brian wrote the song, and everything went so smooth. We wrote it. 2 weeks later, we had it recorded.
Wow.
And I think in the course of a month, it was written, recorded, and put on Spotify.
Wow. Now, there's some piano in it and all that.
Yeah.
What did you play in there, and what, like, do they run us through like a studio session? Is there multiple musicians playing on a track, or is it, you know, you playing a piano and playing the drums and like run us through the recording set for Holy Smokin'?
I mean, it depends on the studio and the budget of every studio. There's a lot of people who do it all themselves.
Okay.
But at Reel to Reel, Brian knows so many people, and he was like, I know a drummer that would be perfect. I know a keyboard that would be perfect. I know a bass player that would be perfect. And they all came in, they all performed, and it was awesome. They're all great dudes, and they killed it. So, yeah, it was keyboard, drums. Yeah, I think it was just them three, and then I played guitar on it.
Okay.
And everything else was kind of added post.
Nice.
You know.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was really, really cool getting to experience that for the first time.
Now, how many takes does it take? I mean, how many redos did you have to do and all that stuff? I mean, how many lay downs did you have to go through to get it? Because it sounds perfect. I mean, I just showed Nate this morning. I'm like, this is the guy we're getting ready to talk to. So,
what'd you think? Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I'm not the hugest country music fan, but I like it.
Thank you, man. But yeah, it's a really cool track. But it took a while. Like vocally, you're taking a bunch of different takes, and they'll put the best inflection of this word right here, and it kind of mix it and match together.
Yeah.
Same with guitar. You're just over and over and over until something pops out, something magical.
Okay.
Magical pops out.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. So what do you have next? What are you working on next after this EP? Do you have some plans? I mean, is there a Aaron Watkins tour that you'd like to put together? I mean, what cities would you like to go and hit up and get away? I mean, I know you've been growing so much here locally in Noonan and Fayetteville and Sonoy. Shout out to Sonoy Beer Company.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you've been growing so much here locally. Is there any place that you'd like to go and visit, or any place that you have fans that are outside of maybe Atlanta or Georgia?
Yeah, there's a lot of places I would love to go. We play a lot around here, and my advice that I've always been given was to build the local scene first and then go out. But I like to go out and play other places. Like, we just got back from Myrtle Beach. We played the Bowery, which is famous for getting Alabama's start. And, we played there. We played in Wadowee and like Gainesville, all parts of Georgia. But I would love to get up to Tennessee. I'd love to even go out to the West Coast, see what kind of country music fans are out there. Just, see
hit up Wyoming.
Hit up Wyoming.
A lot of country songs wrote about Wyoming.
A lot. So. Do people live in Wyoming?
I'm sure there's a couple people there. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of mountains and hills and stuff, but it sounds beautiful. I know there's a couple country songs. I'm trying to think of who wrote some, but yeah, there's a couple country songs wrote about out there. But so how do you put together a tour? I mean, do you kind of just hit people up? I mean, this might be a better question. How did the people in South Carolina, Bowery, how'd they hear about you? I mean, how'd they find you?
I was like thinking of places I wanted to go play, and I was like, let's see what Myrtle Beach has got. So I went on Google, and I was like, music venues, Myrtle Beach, and I found this one that's right on the beach. I clicked on it, and then I found out the history behind it. And the people that have played there, like we had played there, and a week before, Lee Brice, Randy Hauser, all those dudes had been playing there. So I was like, man, this is perfect. So I did my research. I found out who to contact. I contacted them, and it took a while, but finally I was able to nail down a date on a Sunday, which I was like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday. This is 6 hours away, but we ended up getting there. And the sound system was amazing. The people were amazing. The place was packed. We had an amazing time, and they wanted us to come back, which was a very cool feeling.
Yeah.
It made me feel accomplished.
Yeah. It's nice to be invited back.
It is nice being invited back.
When they're like, hey, we'll call you.
Yeah.
But then they don't ever call
and you're like, well,
I had fun.
It was fun while it lasted.
So that's down in South Carolina. Have you ever been to Florida? I'm from Florida. You ever been down
I would
down
love
there?
to get down there. I'd love to
Okay.
go down and play at the Floribama.
Floribama. Oh
That'd be
yeah,
sweet.
that would be awesome.
That's in Florida, right?
Yeah, I think it's on the
That would make
Floribama.
sense.
Edit that out. Edit that. No, just joking.
Well, Floribama would be cool. There's a few clubs in Panama City. Like, before they got rid of Tootsie's, that would have been really cool. You know, on...
they got rid of Tootsie's in Panama?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
I'm
ever
going
been
down
there?
there in a couple of weeks for the first time, so...
Oh, you've never
I need
been
to,
there?
in Panama City, no.
You've never been to Panama City?
Growing up in South Florida, in West Palm Beach, I
Yeah.
mean, we had nice beaches there. If we wanted to go anywhere, we're going to South Beach, Miami, which, in my opinion... Well, actually, I can't say my opinion because I've never been to Panama City, but South Beach?
Yeah.
Wow.
But that would make sense.
Wow.
I mean, Panama City's... I feel like if Miami were closer to us than Panama City, people would be going to Miami.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just a proximity thing. But
Yeah.
I've never been to Miami. I would love to get down there.
Well, we'll go. I'll take
go.
you down there, and we need at least a good 2 days to
Heck
party
yeah.
and 2 days to recover. But I used to work for a frozen beverage company down in South Florida, and we had I worked on equipment, and we had some really big accounts down there, like the
Yeah.
Fountain Blue and the Clevelander and all that.
Oh, the big clubs and
They're
stuff?
huge. I mean, a night, I don't know, this was 10 years ago. So a night at the Fountain Blue was like, the cheapest room was like $1,200 a night.
Whoa.
But it's where you want to be. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't have to leave. They have dance clubs in the hotel. They got anything that you want. The most beautiful pool, cabanas. The cabanas are like 10 grand a day. Like,
Ooh,
this is
man.
not, So every time my boss would call me, he's like, hey, we have a broken machine in South Beach. I'd be like, I'll be there in the morning.
Be like, you don't got to tell me twice.
I will be there in the morning, and yeah, no, it was a fun time. But I'm looking forward to Panama City. I maybe need to bring some of your business cards or something and pass them out
Hey,
while I'm down there.
that'd be sweet.
You
You ever been down to Key West?
Key West is amazing.
I would love to get down and play there. There's a lot of cool places down there.
So you could go down to Key West and just set up a thing on the side, like
Really?
it's kind of like Nashville where there's a lot of performers on the streets and
Yeah.
stuff. I've been down there a couple times. A couple stories I could tell you off the mic for sure. But same thing with the frozen beverage machine because
Yeah.
we had the Weston down there, and you have to take a ferry to it. Like it's not a part of Key West.
Is that where you were named?
No. That's a whole nother thing. If you ask my mom, she named me. If you ask my dad, he named me. So I'll let them fight about that.
What were you saying?
But no, Key West is the same way. I mean, it is just an absolutely beautiful place to visit. The water, I mean, you can see to the bottom even if it's 40 feet.
In Key West?
In Key West, yeah. There's been a couple times where we went down and got some lobsters and stuff. And
Like out of the ocean?
yeah, you just dive down and get them,
You eat them?
I didn't eat them, but I
That would be
definitely
pretty
got
crazy.
them, though. I'm not a big seafood. Growing up fishing, I never really enjoyed seafood.
You don't like crab or lobster?
No, I can't
What do you get if
into
you go to
it.
Red Lobster?
The biscuits? I'm sure they got chicken too, right?
I mean,
Chicken
they do,
fingers.
but like,
I go to the kids menu and get some burger or chicken fingers or
It's like
something.
going to a Mexican restaurant and getting burgers. Like,
Well, it's like, growing up with cutting squid and using the raw
Oh, yeah.
shrimp and all that. It's a smell thing for me.
That makes sense.
Like if I'm in a restaurant and someone gets fish and I'm just like, I don't know if I
Gagging in
want
the
to eat
corner.
anymore. Yeah, like
that would make sense. I feel like it's probably the same way with people who maybe like butchered meat for a living.
Yeah.
Like
they're
probably
going home eating a salad.
Yeah, they're probably like, I don't want to. Or like cleaning deer and crap. They probably don't want
Yeah,
to eat it
not
anymore.
eating no deer sausage
Ugh.
or nothing. Oh man, do you fish? I mean, do you like to fish? Do you eat
do.
fish and seafood and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm
too?
a big seafood guy, but
Okay.
I don't get out and get to fish as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
But man, I love seafood, especially a good lobster tail. Man, that stuff's good.
Some butter and
Oh man,
garlic and all that.
I could eat that every day. That shrimp, catfish.
Okay. Well, you keep playing that guitar. Maybe it'll.
Maybe I'll get catfish one day from it.
You want catfish or lobster, man? I mean, what do you? If you
Both.
had a choice, you
No,
would get
lobster.
both.
Lobster.
Okay.
Today.
Lobster.
It's more expensive, harder to get.
Catfish is like a breakfast thing, right? I mean, you eat catfish with some steak. No, I'm just joking. I don't even know.
I was about to make fun of you for that one.
You deep fry your catfish?
Yeah, like you get it at what's that? Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel catfish. My
Cracker
mom makes
Barrel.
good catfish.
Yeah. The last place that hasn't had their name changed
I
yet.
know.
We might not want to say that. They might change the name after this podcast, you know?
5 years we'll be looking back. What's Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, it'd just be called Barrel.
They changed all the interior and everything.
Oh yeah, they're trying to change everything, Aaron. They don't want anything old to
Nope.
go into the new world.
Not at all.
Speaking of the new world, I just went and saw Oliver Anthony.
Oh yeah.
You heard of that country guy, right?
Yeah. Can I change my hat real quick?
Yes.
So I can
You'll
hurt
put
my
your-
head.
There we go. That's the Aaron Watkins we all know right there.
The cowboy hat comes out for the nice gigs.
Yeah, no, it was funny because me and Nate were talking before you got here, and you didn't have your cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
And then Nate's like, well, any hat that a cowboy wears, I guess, is a cowboy.
That's a good one.
That's
I like
a good
that.
one. I mean, so you just create your own thing.
I like that.
Do it. Do you consider yourself to be a cowboy? I mean, you ever ride horses and
No.
buckle down on steers?
No, I mean, there's such a big thing going on about that, especially internet culture. Like, a lot of country music singers get a lot of crap for not being a cowboy, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many rappers that aren't gangsters.
Yeah. No Diddy. You ain't lying.
I mean, it's just the music that
Yeah.
I love. It's not really about the lifestyle. And there's dudes that are about it, like Cody Johnson. I mean, that dude lives on a farm.
Yeah.
Like, and that's respectable. And the music he makes kind of reflects, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of, you can see that about him in the music he makes. But you got other dudes like Jason Aldean who lives on a nice house in Nashville. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider him a cowboy, but he makes cowboy tunes.
Yeah. There's a big thing in like Christian music too, like Christian bands, but
Yeah,
they're in it just for the money. So
that's
I
where
mean,
I'd have an issue.
you know,
That's the genre I'd have an issue with.
it's like yeah, you can do a lot with a camera, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you can be fake or whatever. I think a lot of it comes down to writing their own songs too, right? Because like, you know, Jason Aldean's probably not writing his own songs. I don't know if he wrote a song,
There's
any
a lot
of
of dudes who don't write
his
their own
songs, you
stuff.
know. So for me, I feel more like, you know, the Oliver Anthony's, the Tyler Shillards, the Zach Bryan
Tyler Childers.
How do I say it?
Tyler Childers.
Schillers.
Chillers.
There's a D in there though.
Childers.
Childers.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that guy. My favorite song of his, and I'll ask you what yours is, but Nose to the Grindstone.
Oh, that's a good one.
Man,
Great
that gives me chills every time I hear it.
Just
you know?
like the intro, when you hear his voice the first time in that song, it's
Yeah.
like, it hits you.
Yeah.
It really does.
And the song I always listen to is the live version. I don't think he's ever done like a studio version before, but obviously he don't need to because that
Yeah.
one's
like the one he does. Wait, which one are you talking about? The one
Nose to
in
the
front of an audience?
Grindstone. It says live after it, even on Spotify.
Oh,
so
it's like one he did, kind of like when I did Lady May.
yeah,
Very similar to that, but like,
but he's never recorded it in the studio.
no,
I
yeah,
guess
it was just like a high quality phone recording. I
Yeah.
guess.
which is exactly what Oliver did, man. That guy.
Oh yeah, that's the same thing.
He recorded off of an Android too. You know, it's like
That's some good camera
it
quality
was
too
Android.
for an Android.
um
How was he? Was he good?
he was amazing, man. I got chills multiple times during his concert because for me, he is himself. He's real.
Oh yeah.
You know, we've all seen him turn down gigs and cancel gigs when they start charging too much. I got front row as far as from me to that light for $45.
You don't get that with anybody else.
No, and he just went back in the studio and re-recorded all his tracks for studio quality, and
Yeah.
he has The violinist from Ricky Skaggs is playing
No way.
with him, and then he had a bass guitarist with him, and then he had that other guy. I can't remember their names. Just a regular acoustic guitar.
So he has a full band now?
But now he has a band and he's traveling and everything.
He's
but
really doing it now.
the guy opens up reading
Bible verse,
prophetic scripture about end times.
Really?
And
that's how he starts the show?
That's how he starts his show. And it's one of those things where it's almost like, okay, is God putting him out to kind of be a forerunner for whatever's getting ready to happen and coming, you know?
I could see that.
And the scripture that he does talk about is about wolves in sheep's clothing and all this stuff. He's very, I shouldn't say anti-government, but he's very anti-tyranny.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what it's going towards anyways, right? I mean, when all this stuff starts to get censored and, you know, you don't have to like Donald Trump or anything about him to realize that they're using the justice system to, you know, try to do stuff to get him out of their way or whatever. But he starts talking about his life and getting sober and all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, we need more of this guy.
Yeah.
We need more people that's just real, saying, I'm real, I'm messed up, I love God, but I'm tearing myself apart by drinking, smoking, doing whatever. And it's one of those things where, like I said, I got chills multiple times during the concert.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see that.
So, yeah, and then my other guy that I really like is Zach Bryan.
You a Zach Bryan guy?
Man, when I listen to him, I just feel what he was writing, you know. And then he just signed this guy out of Jackson, Georgia, that you got to look up. His name is Levi Turner.
Levi Turner, yeah, I know you're talking about.
Check him out. He's got a song out there called "It's Allergy Season" or something like that.
Really?
But I met Levi years ago at a karaoke show in McDonough. Him and his mom came, and he was probably like 16, 17 at the time. And looking back, I've realized how much he has grown in himself, you know, from the young man that I met to now. But let me ask you what you would do if you were in his shoes. It's your first concert, first time playing. You just got signed to Zach Bryan's label. Your first concert is Colorado, the Red Rocks.
Red Rocks.
What would you...
Was that his first concert?
That was his first concert.
Good Lord, man. That's like a dream for everybody.
Yeah, so how would that feel for you, man?
Red Rocks, it depends. Was he opening for Zach Bryan or was it his show?
No, he was opening for him.
That's a different thing.
Zach Bryan took him on tour with him.
Oh, yeah. There's like an unwritten rule, unwritten code when you're opening for people.
Yeah.
It's like, and a lot of people don't follow it, but I feel like I'm a very respectful person when it comes to that. So I would do what I do. I wouldn't try to do too much. I mean, I definitely want to show what I have, but I never would want to outshine whoever's playing after me. Cause I mean, they're the ones who got me out there in the first place, but you definitely don't want to underperform, but it's just without the light, just without the flash, maybe. And, I don't know, probably not giving too many of your opinions on the mic at that point. Like if I'm playing my own show to 40,000 people, I don't care. I'll say whatever, but at a local level or that kind of level, I feel like you got to be a lot more respectful on the mic. You know, especially if you're playing it grazing here, like they just want to hear music. I'm not, and I've been in there a few times when people get a little political.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's a bar. Come on, man.
Yeah. This is the hill you want to die on.
Like, really? There's 8 people in here.
Where's our plastic straws at?
Exactly. But no, Red Rocks would be a dream, and to get to play that as your first concert.
Yeah.
That's a high mark you set yourself on that one. Like there's not a lot to go from there. Like that's the pinnacle for a lot of people.
Yeah, and this is where you're starting out.
Exactly.
So it's like, where do you go? And you know, my thing in my own profession is like, at this rate where I'm at now, the hardest thing or the thing I focus on the most is staying humble.
Yeah.
You have all these people praising you and giving you shout outs and all this stuff, and it's like, I'm very grateful for every one of them. but I don't want it to ever get to my head because that's going to ruin what my brand is. Because my brand is about being real, authentic to people. So I've seen him perform a couple more times, Mr. Levi, since the Red Rock on YouTube and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah?
And he seems to have realized who he is and his audience, and just keeping the humbleness, of being from Jackson, Georgia,
middle of nowhere,
middle of nowhere, and all that, and old beautiful Butts County down there,
And Jackson is redneck as it gets.
Oh yeah, I've been down there a few times, but it's the best watering hole down there. 18-mile dirt road. Maybe I shouldn't say that. They probably wouldn't be happy if I put out their spot like that. But so the Red Rock is obviously, like you said, the pinnacle. Is there a place like Red Rock, other than Red Rock, that you might want to go and jam out? I know you went to the Grand Ole Opry. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but is that like one of those places? Is that on your bucket list, or is there another place that you'd love to rock out on?
Yeah, there's a difference between, like, Red Rocks is not the biggest venue you can play at. You can play stadium shows, but that's just more for more people to come out and see you. Like the famous places like Red Rocks, other famous places that I can't really think of, they're famous, but it's not the most amount of people that can get in there. But there's a couple, like, I would love to play the Grand Ole Opry, but I would also just love to go play Kid Rock's bar in Nashville. Like, that's the coolest place in Nashville.
What's it called? The Big Ass Honky Tonk or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
I've been there one time.
It's got the stage. It's like this, and it's tiered up,
and then it's got the people up top.
I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah,
like, just playing that would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, you met Kid Rock. I mean, did you drop it in his ear to come and play? How was it?
I was a
little
nervous.
Kid Rock?
I was a little nervous. I've never seen a dude with so much confidence in himself. Than Kid Rock.
Yeah,
but he was. What's weird is, like, with Kid Rock, he could be a jerk, and I still like him because it's Kid Rock.
Yeah,
like, that's kind of his persona.
He has to kind of be that way.
But if I met, like, Josh Turner or someone like that, I would kind of be annoyed if they were a jerk. But Kid Rock, it was fine. He was a cool dude. He let me take a picture with him, which was pretty sweet. And I got to kind of hear a conversation he was having with a few other people. So it was cool to hear Kid Rock get on a personal level that I've never heard before. Like, you see him even in interviews, he's still Kid Rock, but I got to see a version of Bobby. Bobby, whatever.
It's the real dude.
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah.
Whatever his last name is.
Yeah. It's not Rock?
I thought it was.
Bobby Rock.
I thought he might be related to Chris, maybe.
It's Chris Rock's nephew. So what brought you over there to Grand Ole Opry? How'd you get in there, and how'd you get in backstage and all that?
Yeah, we got.
Tell us about the experience there.
Well, throwing back to Tim Duggar, he had his 5th appearance on the Opry, and he called my dad and he was like, "You and Aaron want to come out and come backstage for the next Opry?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so we went, and it was incredible. Like, you go backstage, and I've always ever been to concerts or anything like that as a fan, and people treat you as like a fan when you're there, like the staff, everyone. But being backstage at the Opry, I mean, I wasn't even playing. They didn't even know who I was, but I felt like I was a superstar back there. Like, you felt like you're supposed to be there, which is a cool feeling. And getting to see that, have you ever seen the circle they have in there?
Mm-hmm.
Getting to, like, see that up close and personal, and all the legends that have played there, kind of lit a fire in me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do that one day.
Be there.
I want to be on that circle.
So who, besides Kid Rock, was there? Did you see anyone else?
Yeah, there was a few people, like bluegrass legend Rhonda Vincent. She's really good. And the Gatlin brothers, T.G. Shepherd, a lot of mainly older people, but they're still so good even at their age. They're still performing at a high level.
Yeah, Nashville. I've only been there once, but it was everything that anyone had ever told me about. And I always recommend now. We went on the I think it's RCA studio tour.
Oh yeah,
I think it was RCA. But they have like Chris Christopherson stuff in there and all this. But the cool part was
Is it
they have a
Elvis?
picture. Yeah, they have Elvis recorded there, but they have a picture of Waylon Jennings before he became an outlaw.
Oh yeah,
And
when
he's
it's
like a
cut.
clean cut.
Yeah.
Like he looks, he doesn't look like the Waylon that we know.
Yeah,
And same thing with Willie too, right? So
Yeah, it's
then they
weird.
merged into this outlaw thing, and it's kind of like we were talking about. We all know who Willie Nelson is and all that, but who are they behind the cameras? We don't really know. I mean, it's all a
Yeah.
persona, right? But I think that's one thing that we kind of have connected on is no matter if Aaron Watkins is sitting at a restaurant or playing on the stage, you don't have a persona that you're trying to push onto people or whatever. I mean, this is who you really are.
yeah. Same with you, man.
Which is the greatest thing because you don't have to worry about people seeing you in a different
Yeah.
light or something like that. What is some stuff that you have struggled with in this new fame that you have started to grow and stuff? What's some
Man.
stuff that you've struggled with?
I'll get down on myself sometimes. Like we'll play a show, there's not a lot of people there, but then the next day we'll play to a packed room, and it really puts you on a roller coaster of like, I can do this, I can't do this, I can do this, stuff like that, and really talking to people and being a extrovert is not easy. Like I'm an introvert, I don't like talking to people unless I'm friends with you.
Yeah.
But doing this has really helped me talk to people more, but I still will get a little uncomfortable if there's a lot of people and everything's on me. That's just not how I'm used to being. And when people come up and talk and like you were saying, like sing praises, it's like I get a little uncomfortable because I'm like, why? Like I appreciate it, but
Yeah.
there's so many more talented people. But it is very cool and a humbling experience to get to do this, and right now get to do it for a living, which is awesome.
Yeah. That's a dream come true to a lot of musicians,
And
right?
I mean, you know what I mean too. Like
Yeah.
we're doing the same thing, based kind of
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, working for yourself,
Yeah.
your own brand, building your own brand. I mean, it really sinks or swims based on your performance.
Yeah,
And that's, I think, where a lot of the anxiety comes in for me too. Doing this now, coming up on 9 years, even before weddings, any event, I still start sweating. I get nervous.
Really?
I
you
check,
get nervous?
I check cables. I make sure everything's good. Always have backup laptops, and
Really?
you never know what's going to happen when technology's involved. But I still get nervous, and I asked myself a long time ago why. You think it would just start to fade away, the nervousness,
Yeah.
but for me, it's a insecurity. It's one of those things where I've never felt good enough.
Yeah,
So I'm always waiting to mess up. I'm always
yeah. I know. what you
thinking
mean.
it's gonna happen. Oh, is it this the day? Some drunk guy is gonna
Yeah.
fall on my speaker and I'm gonna fight him.
It's
Like
gonna go viral on TikTok,
gonna
and then
go
you're
viral.
over.
yeah, like you do these events where there's kids at stuff, and
Yeah,
like I won't do Sweet 16s no more, right? And I know you saw that whole video, but
good lord.
it makes it for me. It makes me uncomfortable, and I don't want to. As being someone who believes in love and faith, I don't want to ever trip somebody up.
Yeah.
Even based on music. Our music is so powerful, so
Mhm.
I never want to be the influence in someone's life to be negative. I always try to be positive to people. So
Yeah.
Sweet 16s are out. I'll do quinceañeras. They're so classy and everything.
Yeah, they are. They got the big dresses. And
yeah,
everything.
it's beautiful,
They
but
go all out.
them Sweet 16s have turned into like twerk fest, and I just don't want to be involved in it no more.
Man, I know what you mean.
So, but I wanted to bring you here today so people could get to know you a little more and all that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that, man. I appreciate
and
it.
I greatly appreciate you being here with us. And I wanted to throw out a couple words and you tell me what first comes to mind. And I texted you last night. I'm like, is there anything you want to talk about? Anything you don't want to talk about? And then you waited a little bit to text me back, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I just scared him out of the podcast. He doesn't know what he's getting into. And
I was trying to think. I was like, is there anything? But not really.
For me, it's important to protect your brand too, and I never want to. I don't want this podcast to affect anything outside of the room, So to me, it's more about just caring for you as a person and your brand. So that's where all that came from,
appreciate that.
So we're going to throw out. Let me think of some words. But the first word I do have is country. When you think of the word country, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Zach Top.
Zach Top.
Have you heard of him?
No.
He's like the most pure country singer that has just come out. That's what I
T.O.P.
think of. T.O.P. Zach Top.
Zach Top. Okay.
Yeah.
He's your guy right now.
I think of Zach Top, and I think of Texas.
Okay.
I don't know. Those are two things I think of when I think of country.
Yeah. All right. The next word is marriage.
Marriage.
Yeah.
How do I put this in one word? Does that have to be one word?
No, just be your thought. It's fine.
Not ideal right now.
Oh, okay. For you.
For musicians trying to make it.
Yeah.
Entertain people that work for themselves in general. It's hard on a relationship because a 9 to 5, you're steady. You know when you're going to be working. You know when you're going to have days off. But doing what we do is like,
yeah,
you never know. And then the more you grow, you really never know. Like when you get to a point you're going out on tour, you never know what's going to happen. So I feel like that's a slippery slope getting into all that.
At this place in your time or place in your career and all that.
Yeah, until everything is set and you're set for life, you got a house, you can settle down. Until that, I think it's a weird idea. Unless you have someone that is super supportive and is like ride or die with it.
And understands the sacrifice that's going to have to go in to your time, being away and all that stuff.
And if they can understand that, then you got someone you want to keep there.
I love it. All right. Last word is freedom.
Ooh, freedom. Money.
I
think money.
Okay.
I think money, especially right now, it's like the more money you have, the faster you can grow.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's what it is. Freedom is money. The more money you have, the more freedom you have.
Yeah, because if you don't want to work,
you don't have to work.
You don't have to work. You can go fishing.
Exactly. If you don't want to, I don't know, if you don't want to clean your house.
Yeah.
Pay someone to clean your house.
I love it.
Like, to me, that's freedom.
Yeah, and your shirt, and
a bald eagle.
The American flag, freedom in this country.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking musically.
No, we can talk whatever. We can talk whatever you want.
Okay, then in that case, cut that.
No, it is. No, what you said is true. You can't do anything without money.
Yeah.
And your doors and horizons will open up with money. Now, money ain't everything, right?
Yeah.
Because ask a guy who's a billionaire and lonely, would he rather have friends than the money?
Yeah.
You can pay people to be around you, but you paid them to be around you. At the end of the day, you're like, these people don't love me. They don't really care about me, So there's no wrong answer to these questions.
The grass is always greener on the other side kind of thing. But yeah, freedom also means the people that gave their life and sacrificed to keep us free.
Yeah.
Which is super important to me. And I always like, as little as it may seem, I love shouting that out at shows and making sure veterans are recognized, because that means a lot to me. People, both my grandparents served, my granddad served. So to me, the people that are willing to do that should get as much recognition and respect and free meals as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, those are the people that keep us from, getting screwed over.
Yeah. So if we ever could put something together for veterans, would you want to be down with that?
Yeah.
You'd want to do something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can plan that out. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to ask me twice about that.
Maybe Veterans Day or Memorial Day. I mean, obviously it just passed, so you have some time to plan the next one.
That would be cool, though. I think.
But there's a couple bases around here. I just met a guy at the gym the other day, and he's a reservist somewhere around here. But yeah, no, I love the military too. My dad was in Vietnam, so I grew up with that whole.
Your dad was in Vietnam.
Yeah, I grew up with that whole strict military thing, and then just seeing all the sacrifice that these guys do.
Yeah.
Between their body, their family. You know, my dad, active duty. You know, being shot at.
Mm-hmm.
He had. I remember growing up, he would have metal coming out of his back.
What?
From where he, you know, a mortar's coming, and all they do is just grab a tree.
Yeah.
You know, and they just take all the mortar into their back, all the shrapnel into their back, you know. Could you imagine that? A bomb's coming, and the only thing you can do is grab a tree and hope that it don't kill you, you know.
He had metal coming out of his back for real?
Yeah. And this was, you know, 40 years after Vietnam.
Wow.
Metal
I
still.
can't even imagine.
So, yeah, the veteran thing for me is very important too. Anytime I see veterans, you know, if they wear their hat or whatever, I always go out of my way to thank them for their service.
Open the door for them, maybe.
Yeah, welcome home, brother, you know, that kind of thing. It's a selfless act to want to do that. Now, mind you, a lot of those guys in Vietnam were drafted, right? They didn't really want to go in there.
But still did it.
But they still did it. They weren't draft dodgers, you know. There's a lot of those people out there.
Yeah, you know, I got to make one shout out when it comes to veterans. Ellis Lowry.
Yes.
You got to mention him if you're talking about veterans in the local music scene. That man has seen so much, been through, I forgot how many tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. He's even, if you go on CMT, there's a documentary that he's on.
Oh, yeah?
On CMT.
That's awesome.
And now he plays locally. And he's one of the nicest dudes you'll ever
He's very
meet.
nice.
He's so down to earth, the nicest dude. He's one of my closest friends. And, I mean, he's just a great dude. And he's so big on supporting veterans. Like, he will put on events. They have a thing called Operation Tackle Box. Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's they'll put on a lot of events at like RPM, and they're at the Cotton Fair.
Okay.
And they do a lot of support for veterans, do a lot of events for veterans, and Ellis is always a big part of that. And him bringing that music and seeing other veterans watching Ellis and the bond that they have is really cool.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I have so much respect for Ellis.
Yeah, I've never been able to see his show, but you hooked me up with him, and now he's a regular at Anthony's. I think we book him once a month to come and play for Ladies' Night on Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah.
But one thing I love about him and about his show is that he kind of has his music tied into his story, you know, and he kind of brings you through that. And, you know, every musician is different, and I love that he claims his veteran stuff, and that is such a part of him and his music that he's implemented it into sharing his story and all that. So definitely shout out to Ellis, man.
There's so many, like, he'll tell a story before every song. And, like, he got to pee next to Jimmy Buffett one time. You got to get him.
I didn't hear that story. Maybe we'll have him on one day.
Oh my, you have to have Ellis on here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Conversation y'all would have.
Yeah. That would be cool, man. Yeah, there's a couple of local guys here that have fought so hard for our country, and you know they stay humble too. They don't ever, you know, get the praise that they deserve and all that. So that's why I always try to go out of my way and tell them just how I feel and love on them and all that. It's really, really important. I wanted to switch the roles for a second. And we've known each other for a little bit. Is there any questions that you want to ask me? This can be Encounters with Aaron Watkins. All right, go.
Let's see. What do I got here? What made you start DJing? How did that happen?
I suck at calculus. I wanted to be
you and me both, man. That's how we both started.
I wanted to be a chiropractor, and I was in college to be a chiropractor. I was down at Gordon trying to get a bachelor's in science, and the guy, my calculus teacher, was trying to solve zero. I am not a good student. I have ADD, so the first day, this is college, the first day he just comes in, he didn't even say anything, he just starts doing problems on the
first
board.
day?
First day. And where I messed up is I never took pre-calculus. So, or maybe this was pre-calculus, I don't know. I didn't do my part to learn anything. I went in with like a blank slate thinking he was going to teach me.
Yeah. No teaching.
I should have already known what he was writing on the board and all this. And then it's like, okay, well, I have a question. Forbes, email me.
Really?
I'm like, well, guess what?
Man.
By the time I got to the point where I could email, which was after, I was already lost.
Yeah.
So I was just playing catch up. And my best friend, Timmy G, he was working over in Brookhaven at Hudson Grill. And he needed to
Hudson Grill.
Yeah. You ever been there?
Yeah, I think I have.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Hudson Grill in Brookhaven. It was my first gig. And he called me like the week before. He says, hey, he was just starting TJ. He's like, I got a club gig and I need you to help, do the karaoke. He knew I already had personality. So
did you already do any of this stuff?
I've never done any of it. He came the night before the gig and showed me how to set up the speakers, how to run the program.
The night before?
The night before. In my garage, the speakers, the program, set up everything, right?
Yeah.
Well, I had a great time. I killed it. I had a lot of fun. I had already been going to karaoke. From my buddy Benny, introduced me to karaoke when I first moved up to Georgia. So I had already been to a bunch of karaoke shows, but I had never hosted them. I had a great time. The manager came up to me and said that he would like me to come back. So I called Timmy because it was Timmy's gig.
Yeah.
And I told Timmy, I said, the guy really liked me. He's asking me. And Timmy kind of took it as an opportunity to pass the gig on to me, and he can go and get some stuff that paid more.
Yeah.
So that was my first gig.
Really?
Yeah, I was working for a company. I won't say the name of the company, but they started nickeling and diming me.
Oh.
And it's like, I'm bringing my own equipment and all this. It's like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, might as well do your own thing.
Yeah, so Timmy, I was driving down 75, and he introduced me to my mentor, Doug Sheets. And at the time, Doug was with a company, Elite Events over in McDonough. And I sat in Doug's office the first day for like 30 minutes and just getting to know him, and we became friends instantly. And Doug has been doing weddings for like 25 years, probably longer.
So he does weddings and divorce parties.
He does weddings. He does divorce parties. I mean, he used to be, when Hooters was a big thing, he used to be the DJ for Hooters.
Oh my gosh.
For the CEO. Imagine. And doing all the Hooters parties and all that.
I bet that was fun.
Hammers up in Hapeville. I mean, he's a local legend.
Yeah.
He still is. So, Timmy introduced me to him, and Doug showed me how to do everything. How to talk on the microphone, how to mix music, all that stuff. So I've never DJ'd in a club before. I kind of did it backwards, where a lot of DJs will learn on vinyl and then they'll go into house parties and then go to clubs and all that. I went straight into weddings. I went straight into the money, where the money is in weddings. I mean, these people in the clubs, DJs, they're DJing for like 6 hours and they'll make like $150.
And weddings, you can charge so much money for a
if
wedding.
You're good.
Yeah, that is true.
If you're good. For sure. And Doug showed me so much and introduced me to a lot of people. And then I started working over here in El Raposo, and that's why I fell in love with Fayetteville. Living in Henry County, it was terrible. The driving was terrible. So moving over here to Fayetteville was like the best decision I ever made. And then I left the company in 2019. I went on my own, and I've been doing this on my own ever since, man. So
Man, but you've been DJing and you're good at that, but we also got to talk about them rapping skills you got.
What do you think of that?
That was, man.
That surprised you?
I knew you could do that, but.
You heard me at open mic.
I've heard you at open mic, but you went for like 25 minutes without missing a beat, which was nuts.
Yeah, I started rapping when I was 15.
My dad was impressed. That dude does not like rap, but he was impressed. That's when you know. That's when you know you're good.
Daryl had to grab the bass. He's like, "You need some bass."
He did grab. That was cool.
When I started rapping, he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna step away," and then he's like. This guy, man, he whispered in my ear. He's like, "You need some bass." I'm like, "Daryl, get on the bass, slap the taste or something." I don't remember what I said.
Yeah, then Nate's got a good history with hip hop, so he's able to grab some.
Yeah,
and you should have seen everyone come. I mean, everyone was so into it. It was so cool. I'm so glad you came and did that.
The Georgia Dirt Band.
Dirt Band.
How'd you meet those fellers?
Nate is kind of funny because I was I was connected with some people at Grazing here. And there was a band there that their guitarist was leaving. And the leader of the band sent me a message. He was like, "Hey, do you want to come play guitar for us? I got your number from the sound guy here." And I was like, I mean, I do my own thing. But this was before I really was doing it every weekend. And I was like, I'm doing my own thing, but I'll come play with y'all and see what I think. And so I came and played with him. And I sang a couple songs and I played guitar. And then I get a text that night, and it's from Nate Pica. And I'm like, "Who's this?" "Oh, the drummer." He's like, "Call me." I'm like, "All right." And so I called him. And next thing you know, he ended up joining us, and he's been with me for like a year now.
Yeah.
He's not missed a gig.
Yeah.
Not missed a single gig. And he's one of, if not the best drummer I know.
Yeah. He loves it. I can see the smile on his face.
He's never met a stranger either. He's one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. And he knows my set list better than I know my set list. Like, he's committed. He loves it. It don't matter what song it is. He'll play anything.
Which is good, right? Because
that's what you want.
You go from song to song.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of do a mashup sometimes.
Yeah.
So you need the drummer to know
to
be able to switch up that beat real quick.
He's a unicorn. He's
Shout out to Nate.
Yeah. And then Daryl used to play with Tim Duggar back in the day, and Dad Dad was like, "Reach out to Daryl Bush," and I was like, "All right." So I reached out to him. He hadn't played in like 10 years. So he ended up coming, and he played at the first gig with us in Woodbury. And he hit that first note on the bass. We played My Kind of Party, Jason Aldean.
Yeah.
And he's got a super low note, and he hit it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so Daryl's a super great dude. He's nice. And then obviously my dad playing guitars.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Having that just a lead guitar player. They're hard to find, the good ones and the ones that sound like what I want to sound.
Yeah.
And Dad being able to do it, and I live with him.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I love that.
It's pretty sweet not to think about it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We have a good time, and they're always down to do stuff. They're all great people. Like, we all went to Myrtle Beach on a Sunday. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
And so it's really cool. It's really cool having them. It's always a lot of fun getting to play.
Yeah, that's awesome. So wrapping this thing up, man, tell us a little about what you have coming up, any shows that you want to shout out. Definitely want to shout out my birthday party.
Oh, yeah, July 20th.
July 20th at Anthony's. You're going to be here. The whole band will be there playing. It's going to be a good time.
The lady from the party the other night's going to be there, too.
Yeah, no, shout out to Miss J. Dude, cool chick, man. They're super cool. They know how to throw a party, that's for sure. We need to throw your birthday party there or something, man.
When I heard graduation party, not to say anything bad, but I was like, yeah. Then I got there, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, this is awesome. So anything you want to shout out to the people, let them know maybe where they can hear you, find you, keep up with you. I know you got a calendar now. I saw Miss Brandy put out the calendar.
Yeah. She's awesome. She does a lot. I started, it's probably been a few months now, but she's done so much, and that's probably one of the biggest things that helped me grow so fast.
Yeah.
But anyway, shout out to her. But she put together the website. Her and my uncle's graphic design. They put together the website, and so you can go to AaronWatkinsMusic.com. You can find the calendar, dates, merch, whatever you want. You can go. We're having a weird issue with Spotify right now.
Yeah.
So my song's kind of not on there right now.
Yeah.
But every other platform, you just look up Aaron Watkins, And Holy Smokin's the one song we have out right now. Instagram, Aaron Watkins. Facebook, Aaron Watkins Music. But yeah, I mean, those are... Go there if you want to find me, and go to DJ West if you want to find Wes.
I don't have a website yet. I'm working on it right now.
I'm at Facebook. I was talking about Facebook.
Facebook.
Or Instagram.
DJ West ATL, baby. Aaron Watkins, man, it's been a pleasure getting to know you better, man.
Yeah,
and
man.
I appreciate you being here with me today, bro.
Thanks for having
You're
me,
awesome,
brother.
man. I can't wait to party with my with you and
Yeah.
the Georgia Dirt Band on my birthday. It's gonna be epic,
awesome.
man. So you guys can find us there. And Aaron, thank you so much for being with us today, dude.
Thank you so much for having us. This is awesome. Or having me. I don't know who else is.
Well, Nate's here.
Yeah, Nate.
He lives here.
Thank you for having us, Nate.
Thanks, Nate. We love you guys. Appreciate y'all joining us today. We'll see you guys next time, man. We're out. Take care.
That was cool.